Black and White Sessions. We are so excited today. This is a great day. We have the lovely and talented Eden Espinosa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm here.
It
took a while.
It took a long while.
It
takes a long while for a lot of people, but this one took a really long time.
Listen, I was shaking in my boots for a while, so I finally had to put my big girl pants on.
Well,
and get here and do
thank
it.
you for stepping out of your comfort zone and saying no to fear.
Yes, exactly.
We're not a fan of fear around here.
No, take a back seat.
Yes.
Take a back seat. Yeah.
This is so great. Well, I mean, as many people know, we filmed these near Los Angeles, and you are one of the few people, actually, that have come through here that are actually a native to Southern California and the Orange County area. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of a little bit of a homecoming for you.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love coming home, and I love meeting other people who have been here for a while and who are in the industry and just like making new friends and new connections. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Well, and it's so great because I feel like we've kind of hit our stride with these sessions in that we have covered a lot of people who have been predominantly studio singers or predominantly touring singers.
Right.
And just very loosely been able to tap into some of the amazing talent that have come from the theater world.
Right.
Or the Broadway world, or however people want to say that. But I feel like, you know, you obviously are very well known for the work you have done through musical theater. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, when I hear Eden Espinosa, the first thing that comes to my mind, of course, is Elphaba.
Uh-huh.
So, did it start with Elphaba, or where did it start, or how did you get to Elphaba?
I moved to New York because I auditioned out here for a musical, a brand new musical called Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't find anyone they really liked in New York, so they auditioned out here. I went in, I got it, we did a workshop, and then in New York, and I moved to New York 2 weeks later. So I had moved to New York with the hopes of Brooklyn going to Broadway and that being my debut, but you know, musicals take a long time to actually get produced and make it to Broadway. So in the meantime, I auditioned for a show called Wicked, and I got the standby for the original company, so I was Idina Menzel's standby, and then I went on to do the role in the Los Angeles company, on Broadway, in San Francisco as well. So I did the role on and off for 7 years.
That's such a long time.
Yes.
Oh my word. As vocalists, we just all think, oh, the vocal health, her chords, keeping your voice healthy and all of that. I'm sure that was a bit of a thing. You probably learned a lot about your voice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was just it's an interesting time because it was in the beginning, so it was actually before, and I was so young, like when I first started, and it was just, I didn't have to think about technique so much because it's now that people go like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. And then you start like getting heady and trying to figure out how you do things, and then it doesn't work anymore, and then you have to go back to studying and figure it out again.
Like retraining your voice a little bit, really.
Yeah. I feel like that's common with singers, especially women singers, like as they get older in life and something came to them naturally, and then they get known for that thing, and then they don't know how to do it anymore, and then I don't know. I feel like the more I talk about it, the more people are like, "Oh my God, that happened to me too." So
and how important it is that if we don't keep training our voice or just keep exercising the muscles that maybe we don't use on a daily basis, it's possible to continue doing all of those things as long as we keep conditioning. And training the muscle and just protecting it.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's your tip for the day, people.
Yes.
All you 20-year-olds.
Yes.
Do your vocal warm-ups.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's, funny thing, before we leave that, I have to just say that my husband and I, on our 1-year wedding anniversary, we had been gifted tickets to Wicked, and so you were the first Elphaba that we saw.
Oh my gosh!
With Megan Hilty in the Los Angeles at the production at the Pantages.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Thank you for that.
Of course,
that's a lovely memory that I have.
That is a lovely memory. I love
so
that.
So we move out from that. You've done a lot of things. So you did end up doing Brooklyn. Brooklyn happened.
Yes.
And it did come to be.
It did happen. Mm-hmm.
And then I wondered a little bit about, I know you were in like kind of the closing final cast of Rent, mm-hmm. and you got to be a part of the Tony production of that with the original.
Yes.
Cast. What was that like? Tell us a little bit about that.
You know, Rent was the first musical that I heard that I instantly thought, oh, I've never heard voices like this on Broadway before, mm-hmm. because they were rough, they were untrained, and I loved musical theater when I was a kid, and but I think, my dad raised me on like Motown and classic rock, and so my voice just naturally was on the poppier side, and so I heard these people sing that I had never heard voices like that before. So it was the first show I ever saw on Broadway. Actually, my first trip to New York, I got tickets from a scalper because they were sold out. And so, however, 12, 13 years later, for me to be part of the closing cast it was a beautiful full circle moment. And then to have that moment on the Tonys with the original cast, the cast that I saw, was just so special. It was very, very special, and it's a summer that I will never forget.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
a lifelong memory.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So then fast forward a little bit. I know you've done an album, and have you done two?
I've done one.
You've done the one.
Yes.
But let's fast forward, because I want to get to talking about where we are now, mm-hmm. what you're doing now. And I know that you are in pre-production right now of an album.
Yes.
Your first foray into songwriting.
Yes.
So why? Why now? Why original material? What's your motivation for this?
It's something in the back of my mind that I've always wanted to do. And when I was younger, I was homeschooled for a bit when I was a kid, and I used to write all the time when I was younger. Before it mattered, just because I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And my dad is a songwriter, and so many of my friends are some of my favorite songwriters. I just love the craft. I love the art form, and I respect it so much. And so over time, I wanted to do it more and more, but I got further and further away from it just because I was already judging myself, or I'd start to write something and I'd go like, oh, that's never going to be good enough, and throw it away. And I was going to make this second album the same way I did my first one, which was modern Broadway songs taken out mm-hmm. of context and, arranged as if you heard them on the radio. And I found a producer that I wanted to work with, Blaine Stark, and we had a talk, and he was, he's so far from the theater community, Broadway community, and he was just like, well, why aren't you writing? Do you want to write? And I said, I do. I'm just afraid. And so he just encouraged me to give it a try, and I just reached out to all of my pals who have been doing it longer, mm-hmm. and everyone just created such a beautiful safe space for me to try, and and including myself, and to give myself grace and permission to fail, and to put something out there that people might not like, but that's what you do,
Yeah, that's right.
So it's scary, but it's been so rewarding, and I'm enjoying the process very much. So the second album is all originals. There might be one cover on there, but so it's exciting and scary, but I'm excited.
That's really fantastic.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that, we chatted a little bit about the fact that you were in the process of originating a role for a new musical.
Yes.
So so that could take a long time as well. Is
Absolutely.
That kind of how that works? Because it takes a while to get all the pieces together.
The show itself has actually been around for quite a few years, and it's just now getting producers behind it. So there's an out-of-town tryout this summer, at Williamstown Theater Festival, and we'll see what happens after that.
See, all these things. By the time this interview airs, this album could be out.
Yes.
So we may be putting all the links to that in here. And the musical may be coming to fruition.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot coming.
Yeah.
Lastly, before we go, because this series, we cover a lot of things. I know you've done character voicing.
Yes.
Which is super fun.
Yeah, it's the best.
A lot of people in LA would love to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a funky little niche.
Yeah.
I know you worked on Tangled. And remind us again, what are the roles that you played? I feel like you did two characters in that, right?
In Tangled, I played Cassandra, who is Rapunzel's handmaiden, best friend.
Yes.
But I have done another. I've done a character on Elena of Avlor, both for the Disney Channel.
Okay.
And other things for Adult Swim and Cartoon Network over the years. But right now I'm just Cassandra was actually my second. I originated a show called Titan Maximum for Adult Swim. It was not for kids. Not for the Disney Channel.
Nay.
So Cassandra is my second one, but it's been a dream. Disney, I've growing up in Southern California, and I worked there for many, many years, and so it keeps coming back into my life in dreams being fulfilled since I was a kid. So I got to do a fireworks show for them, and I'm recording one for Tokyo Disneyland, and to voice a character for a cartoon is just amazing, and it's Glenn Slater and Alan Menken writing the music for it.
Wow.
So it's they're each little mini movies, so it's great. It's the best job ever, and it's one of my favorite characters I've ever gotten to play.
I love that.
And I can show up in my pajamas.
Yes, which is
I don't, but
the best part of all of that.
Yeah.
Well, we are so excited for you. We're so thankful for you. Thank you for coming and being a part of our Black and White Session
family. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy I finally made it in.
Yay! Yes. And yay for overcoming fears.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, all the best to you.
Thank you.
See you again.
Thank you so much.
Bye.